them to traverse on. That's why some bus companies are willing to offer refund for travelers or rebook their trips on a later date. Some passengers that we talked to are dismayed. They cannot spend the New Year's Eve with their loved ones. They're thinking about returning to the terminal right after the celebrations. Others, meanwhile, are still willing to wait and spend their New Year's Eve at the terminal. They say they already have their loads of luggage with them and their homes are still far from here. It will be inconvenient for them to bring their things out of the terminal and then come back. But what they're saying is that what's important is for them to spend time with their families and friends, whatever it takes. Ina.
Thank you, Rex. That was Rex Remito reporting live from the Araneta bus terminal in Cubao. 3 people were killed in a landslide in San Francisco, Legazpi City just this morning. The Legazpi City Disaster Risk Management Office says when the landslide occurred, the victims were inside their home along with 10 other family members who were able to get out but got hurt. The landslide came after heavy rains brought on by Tropical Depression Usman. Usman weakens into a low-pressure area after making landfall in Borongan, Eastern Samar earlier today. All tropical cyclone warning signals were lifted, but Pag-asa warns moderate to heavy rains will continue over the regions of Calabarzon, Mimaropa, and Bicol, and the province of Aurora. Light to moderate rains, meanwhile, are expected over Metro Manila, Central Luzon, and the Visayas. We now talk to Cedric Daep, the head of the Albay Public Safety and Emergency Management Office. Good afternoon, sir, and thank you for taking our call.
Good afternoon, Ina.
Sir, kamusta po ang lagay ng panahon dyan ngayon? LPA na, pero ang nakarating po sa amin ay tuloy pa rin ang pag-ulan at ang pagbaha po dyan?
Tuloy-tuloy pa rin dito ang pag-ulan dahil siyempre affected kami ng amihan. Sa Southern Luzon, especially in Eastern Seaboard, affected ng amihan. Even prior to the tropical depression, talaga malakas na po ang ulan dito.
Ano po na ang update doon sa mga landslide victims, sir? So meron pong 3 na namatay daw po kaninang umaga, nadagdagan po ba ito? Or nakapag-evacuate na rin po ba? Dahil maaari pa rin may dangers na dulot ng landslide.
Landslides sa Manito, sa Tiwi, sa Legazpi. In fact, sa Tiwi, hindi possible yung road going to Camarines Sur because of landslide. Ito lang talaga ang hindi nakaligtas yung isang pamilya, pero nakaligtas yung 10 nilang kasama sa bahay. Dahil ito talaga tulog na ayaw talaga gumising daw. Yun.
At dahil tuloy-tuloy pa rin po, sir, ang pag-ulan dyan, kamusta po ang evacuation? Dahil mahalaga po na, siyempre, to prevent other tragedies, malikas na po muna.
Yeah, evacuated naman. Nagdagdag lang kami ng evacuation ngayong araw because of flood. Kasi may mga areas na tumas pa yung tubig. Kaya may mga evacuation activities kami doon sa areas na tumas pa yung tubig. Pero yung lahat namin evacuated din kahapon, ginubatan. Sa flood, may mga evacuation kami kahapon, Legazpi, sa Tabaco, Malinaw, Libon, Manito. Ngayon, nag-direct pa rin kami ng evacuation. Pero yung sa threshold namin sa landslide, binago namin. Dati kasi 240 ang landslide. Ganun din sa ibang areas. Evacuated at 180. Ngayon, yung San Francisco, first time na na-document namin yung landslide yan at 167 millimeters. So definitely, may adjustment kami sa landslide evacuation or criteria na dapat 130 millimeters pa lang na cumulative rainfall evacuated sa San Francisco area.
Huli na lang po, sir, meron po ba kayong mga pangangailangan na gusto niyo pong hingin from the national government, if any?
Yun ang pag-uusapan namin mamaya. Kasi sa ngayon, mag-meeting kami na go 1 o'clock mamayang hapon. And then, magdi-declare, titignan namin kung kailangan namin mag-declare ng state of calamity immediately. And then, i-identify namin yung need based on na nakita naming situation.
Okay,
assessment ng capacity namin.
Marami pong salamat, Cedric Daep, Head of the Albay Public Safety and Emergency Management Office.
Ito ang tawag kulab. Kaya anuman ang hamon, umaahon. Kahit dehado, lumalaban. Dahil kasama ang nag-iisang Vino Kulafu. May dosenang Chinese herbs na ikit-anim na dekada ng tumutulong magbigay tibay at lakas. Kaya sa bawat laban ng buhay, dosenang lakas ng Vino Kulafu.
The United States was not spared from Mother Nature's wrath this year, from raging wildfires to snow across the South to two major hurricanes. This has been another year of costly disasters. Natasha Chen has a look at some of 2018's most destructive weather events in the region.
This looks like a war zone.
In January, heavy rain fell on the burn scar left behind by what was then the largest wildfire in California history. Fast-moving floods triggered mudslides and debris flows that swept away cars and buried homes in Santa Barbara County.
There's nothing here anymore besides a river of mud.
More than a dozen people were killed and hundreds of homes were damaged or destroyed. The Thomas Fire, which began in December 2017 and charred nearly 282,000 acres, wasn't fully extinguished until June. It was a snowy and frigid start to the new year for the East Coast. A series of winter storms brought snow to the deep south. Tallahassee, Florida saw its first measurable snow in nearly 30 years, and Charleston, South Carolina received its largest snowfall since 1989 with 5.3 inches.
We're not used to the winds being this cold.
That same series of storms brought bone-chilling temperatures, blinding snow, and historic flooding to parts of New England. The tide at Boston Harbor reached a record of 15.16 feet. Floodwaters reached the doors of some homes, forcing people to flee, and cars were submerged, some in as much as 3 feet of water. The Mendocino Complex fire erupted in Northern California. Just over 459,000 acres were scorched and more than 300 homes were destroyed. Officials say it's the largest wildfire in state history, and it wasn't fully contained until September. Also in September, Hurricane Florence took aim on the southeast as a Category 4 storm. More than 1 million people across North and South Carolina were told to leave or prepare for the worst.
If you stay and if you get stuck in this, you're on your own.
The slow-moving storm weakened to a Category 1 before making landfall near Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina. But its effects were devastating. High winds toppled trees. Transformers exploded, leaving hundreds of thousands of people in the dark. And the storm's relentless rain and high storm surge triggered destructive flooding. More than a dozen rivers in North and South Carolina overflowed their banks, inundating homes and prompting hundreds of water rescues. More than 50 people were killed in the storm. In October, Hurricane Michael charged toward the Florida Panhandle, and Governor Rick Scott urged residents to prepare.
The storm will be life-threatening.
Recognizable. And as Michael moved inland, it devastated Georgia's agriculture. State officials estimate it caused more than $2 billion in damage. And in November, the catastrophic Camp Fire erupted in Northern California.
This is so devastating that I don't really have the words to describe it.
Fast-moving flames, fueled by winds, devoured everything in their path. The fire scorched 153,000 acres in Butte County and all but leveled the town of Paradise.
You're looking at 90% of the homes are gone.
More than 80 people were killed in the Northern California wildfire, and officials say it is the deadliest and most destructive wildfire in state history. I'm Natasha Chen reporting.
When the newsroom returns, how satisfied are Filipinos with the performance of Rodrigo Duterte as president? We give you the results of the latest SWS survey next. And transport and defense officials respond to a U.S. travel advisory saying NAIA's security is inadequate. Back after a quick break, keep it here on CNN Philippines.
sobrang sarap ng Jollibee, maalala mo lang, nakakatakam. Chicken Joy! Kaya pag na-trigger yung hunger, let Jollibee deliver. Jollibee Delivery.
You've earned your me time. Kick it off with San Mig Zero. Enjoy the lowest calories, the lowest carbs, and zero sugar. For only 32 pesos SRP. Available in these leading stores. You can also call 632 Beer and have it delivered in the following selected areas. To a life without bitterness. Cheers. San Mig Zero. Nakakaantok bang allergy meds mo? I-off ang allergy tantok. On ka sa Alerta. May alert ka formula. Less drowsy na, fast pa. Off ang allergy. On ka sa Alerta, Alerta, Alerta. Unilab yan.
Sa bango at lasa, sarap kasama. Tikman ng bagong Primera Light Brandy.
Ang pressure sa akin, laging nadadagdagan. Kahit off-court, no escape. Buti may dagdag suporta ni Mama at Papa at ng Star Margarine. Bawat kutsara, may kid power nutrients. Tumutulong magpatangkad, lakas, at sigla. Dagdag sustansya rap. Mas abot mo ang pangarap with Star Margarine.
Sa bango at lasa, sarap kasama. Tikman ng bagong Primera Light Brandy.
At a certain age, there might be less hair, but also less baggage. You're less critical of the man in the mirror and more grateful for me time. You cut away all your worries until you get zero bitterness. Zero. San Mig Zero.
newsroom on CNN Philippines. Welcome back. Majority of Filipinos remain satisfied with the performance of Rodrigo Duterte as president. The latest social weather station survey found 7 out of 10 adult Filipinos, or 74% of respondents, are still satisfied with the president's performance. 15% are not, while 11% are undecided. This gives a net satisfaction rating of +60, which SWS classifies as very good. This is also up by 6 points from the +54 rating in September. SWS attributes the increase to respondents from Metro Manila, the Visayas, and Balance Luzon. The net satisfaction rating of Mr. Duterte declined in Mindanao. Overall, the president's annual average net satisfaction score is a very good +54. That's 5 points below his score in 2017. Good news now for motorists planning to use tollways to and from south of Metro Manila for the New Year's Eve. You may pass through the NAIA Expressway, the Skyway System, South Luzon Expressway, and Star Tollway for free from 10 p.m. of December 31st until 6 a.m. of January 1st. Since it's a long weekend, SMC Tollways is deploying more ambulant toll collectors at these expressways. Motorist assistants and traffic patrollers will also be on standby and on watch 24/7. Don't forget to load up your ETC or RFID passes for faster travel. Also, good news for train commuters. You will have free rides on the MRT on Sunday, December 30th. This is to commemorate the 122nd death anniversary of our national hero, Jose Rizal. You can avail of free rides from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Nearly 11 million pesos worth of brand new motorcycles were donated to the Philippine National Police. San Miguel Corporation and BMW Motorrad turned over 50 BMW G310R police motorbikes to the PNP Highway Patrol Group. PNP Chief Oscar Albayalde attended the turnover ceremony yesterday. He says the motorbikes will be used for traffic management, anti-criminality, and police visibility operations along EDSA. The HPG's motorbike fleet now has 350 units.
Gamitin natin to sa EDSA para mas mobile, lalo na sa traffic, to beef up yung ating EDSA patrollers.
Up next, is saving more money included in your New Year's resolution? Find out how you can manage your finances better in 2019, according to an analyst, later on the show. And movie fans are excited for the return of Barbs and Trisha to the big screen. Details next. This is Newsroom Weekend on CNN Philippines.
At a certain age, there might be less hair, but also less baggage. You're less critical of the man in the mirror and more grateful for me time. You cut away all your worries until you get zero bitterness. Zero. Sunmig Zero.
Ken?
Joy?
Joy.
Joy. Sa sobrang sarap ng Jollibee, maalala mo lang, nakatatakam. Chicken Joy! Kaya pag na-trigger yung hunger, let Jollibee deliver. Jollibee Delivery.
Sa bango at lasa, sarap kasama. Tikman ng bagong Primera Light Brandy.
What you do in a hotel is up to you. To find your ideal one, just use Trivago. Simply type in what you want in your hotel and Trivago will help you find it. It's that easy. Hotel Trivago.
The world is often unkind to the new. New talent, new perspectives, new people like myself. When I was starting out, lacking pressure to do just what everyone else does. But I stayed true to my heart and made my own beats, my own music. And people started listening. Now, over 1 million people listen to my beats. Because while the world is often unkind to the new, people can still relate to what's true. Dahil sa pagiging totoo, lumalabas ang galing mo. Sundin ang puso mo. Dito ka sa totoo. Dito ka sa San Miguel Pale Pilsen. Sarap ng urig, sarap ng totoo.
What's it like to stay here? Let's find out. Hi, I'm Michael Imurang, and we're about to check in.
Our staycation begins right now. I'm Christine Jacobs Sandejas, and family, and we're about to check in.
Para sa mahaba-habang inuman, mag-San Mig Light. 100 calories lang. Magaan sa tiyan na pwedeng ma-enjoy sa maraming paraan. In bottles and cans. Pwede ring mag-cold and fresh San Mig Light Draft. Pero hindi lang nagtatapos sa bars ang mahaba-habang inuman. Available din ang San Mig Light sa lahat ng inyong suking tindahan at sa 632 Beer Hotline. Saan mo man ma-enjoy ang San Mig Light, siguradong fresh yan. Dahil brewed locally in our breweries nationwide. So next time magkayayaan, alam niyo ng San Mig Light dapat yan. Mahaba-habang inuman, San Mig Light.
We have another breaking news. A strong earthquake hits parts of Mindanao. We now talk to FIVOX Director Undersecretary Renato Solidum. Good afternoon, sir, and thank you for taking our call.
Good afternoon.
Sir, can you give us an update? Ayon sa USGS, may kalakasan ng lindol doon sa Mindanao. Can you give us details on just how strong the earthquake was?
Well, the magnitude was estimated to be between 7.0 to 7.2. Major earthquake, but the epicenter of the earthquake was on the seaside, southeast of General Generoso, Davao Oriental. The depth was 49 to 90 kilometers as estimated. The depth of the earthquake would tell us that the tsunami that it can generate may not be very high, but just for precaution, we need to make sure that people avoid the beach in the areas of Davao Oriental, Davao del Sur, Davao Occidental, Sarangani. Most likely, this should be finished early on if there is a threat, but we need to be employing precautionary measure. Now, the shaking intensity in southern Mindanao was that strong because the earthquake was offshore. General Santos reported the intensity at 4.
Okay, so it's 7 to 7.2, sir, pero ang sinasabi ninyo, sa seaside siya nangyayari. So, ano ang expectations natin, or have you already received possible information on just, kumbaga, ano po ang naramdaman on land ng mga residente?
Well, intensity 4 in General Santos, I don't have the details for the other cities. Our main concern now would be for people to avoid the beach in the provinces that I mentioned.
Okay, have we identified, sir, specific shores, lalo na yung mga specific areas na kailangan
Shoreline
po talaga?
Po ng Davao Oriental, Davao Occidental, Davao del Sur, and Sarangani.
Okay. May official tsunami warning na po bang
The tsunami advisory po yan ang ginagamit natin. Pag tsunami warning, then evacuation is needed. Pag tsunami advisory, people along the beach should avoid the beach.
Sir, kapag ganito po kalakas na earthquake, are we expecting possible aftershocks? And ano po ang expectations dapat ng mga tao po na nandun sa Mindanao ngayon?
Well, aftershocks can happen, but again, the epicenter is offshore, so the shocks may not be felt very strongly.
Okay. So lastly, sir, information on any possible damage and possible assistance?
We have to wait for any information from the ground. You can contact the Office of Civil Defense for this.
Okay. Thank you very much, FIVOX Director Renato Solidum, giving us an update on the estimated 7 to 7.2 magnitude earthquake in Mindanao. Kakapangyari lang po niyan kanina and as Director Solido mentioned, ang epicenter po ay sa seaside. So right now, residents in Mindanao are advised to avoid shorelines dahil po sa maaaring tsunami na ma-experience doon.
Ito ang tawag kulafu. Kaya anuman ang hamon, umaahon. Kahit dehado, lumalaban. Dahil kasama ang nag-iisang Vino Kulafu. Patusen ang Chinese herbs na ikit-anim na dekada ng tumutulong magbigay tibay at lakas. Kaya sa bawat laban ng buhay, tusen ang lakas ng Vino Kulafu.
Shifting gears, Netflix has upped the ante once again with the release of an interactive episode of British sci-fi anthology series Black Mirror. Yesterday, Netflix dropped Bandersnatch, a story about a young programmer named Stefan who is working on adapting a novel into a new video game. But the catch, viewers take the driver's seat. This means viewers must decide for Stefan, sending the plot in different directions. Bandersnatch has no official running time and actually depends on the choices of the viewers. Bandersnatch is currently playing on Netflix. A popular transgender movie character returns to the big screen. We get to know the story of Barbs from the movie Die Beautiful. The Idea First company released the official trailer for spin-off movie Born Beautiful, starring Martin Del Rosario. Barbs was the best friend of transgender beauty queen Trisha, played by Paolo Ballesteros in the award-winning film. Here's a look.
My greatest realization about love is that love has no limits. Hindi napupuno ang puso. I am Barbs Cordero na nagsasabi na magmahal ka hindi lang sa abot ng iyong makakaya, kundi magmahal ka sa dami ng iyong makakaya. And I thank you.
Born Beautiful premieres January 23rd next year. That's what's happening in the newsroom this Saturday, December 29. I'm Ina Andalong. Sports Desk Weekend is up next. Good afternoon.
This program is brought to you by Bank of Commerce, an affiliate of San Miguel Corporation.
This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
This is Sports Desk Rewind. We look back at the biggest sports stories of 2018. 4 golds for the Philippines in the Asian Games. We highlight the country's victories at the continental meet in Indonesia.
Meantime, Gilas Pilipinas goes through a major change. We hear from Yang Giao, the new head coach of the national men's basketball team.
And from the PBA to the UAAP, we revisit some of the champions that made headlines in 2018.
I'm Andre Felix.
I'm Charles Tew.
And I'm Pauline Verzosa.
And Sports Desk Rewind starts right now. Medals all in all for the Philippines at the Asian Games back in August this year. The country had its best finish since 2006, bringing home 4 golds, 2 silvers, and 15 bronzes from the continental meet. Filipino athletes took the spotlight at the quadrennial showpiece, which took place in Indonesia. Olympic silver medalist Heidelin Diaz won gold in weightlifting, Yuka Saso in individual golf, the Philippine women's golf team in team golf, and Marjeline Didal in skateboarding.
CNN Philippines chief anchor and correspondent Pia Ontiveros got to speak to Olympic weightlifter and Asian Games gold medalist Heidelin Diaz. Heidelin says she will do her best to win a gold medal at the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo.
Taktakan ng
labanan sa Olympics. Hindi ko masasabi, pero gagawin ko yung lahat. Gagawin kong lahat sa preparasyon na lalakas ako pagdating sa Tokyo 2020.
Paulit-ulit mo naman sinasabi no, na kulang ang suporta para sa, hindi lang para sa mga weightlifter, pero para sa mga atleta in general. Ano pa ba ang kulang na kailangang maibigay ng gobyerno naman?
Pagkain ng atleta, facilities sa national athletes. Then siguro yung mga support system na kailangan talaga nandun sila sa laro namin.
Meantime, our Anjo Alimoria spoke to members of the Philippine women's golf team after their back-to-back victories. Bianca Pagdanganan shares how difficult their competition was.
Sa totoo lang po, sobrang hirap po kasi alam namin na magaling po yung team ng China. Pero para sa akin, hindi ko alam para sa'yo, pero hindi ko inisip kung gaano kalayo yung score namin sa score ng China. Sinubukan lang po namin i-play yung game namin. Alam po namin na may chance kami, pero hindi po talaga namin inisip na dapat mag-gold kami para wala pong pressure. I mean, kailangan din po kasi din namin i-enjoy yung experience na to. So, yun po, parang no pressure so we could play our best.
I also got to speak to Marjeline Didal one-on-one shortly after her return to the Philippines from Indonesia back in September. And she talks about the attention she brought to skateboarding here in the country.
Nakaka-proud and thankful din na may nakapagbigay ng pansin din sa skateboarding. And then, so ayun nga, lahat nakakano lang na struggle yung naging skater. Tapos, sobrang saya din kasi magkakaroon ng skate park sa around Philippines. Yung world-class facility yung kailangan natin eh. Kung usapang Olympic 2020, kung gusto naman ng gold medal.
Yes.
So, why not? Gawa tayong ganon, tas practice. Mag-train pa tayo ng ibang skater. Di lang ako, di natin alam kung ako ba yung kukuha ng gold medal or may iba pa ba. Kasi ang daming talent dito sa Pilipinas eh. Kulang lang talaga ng support.
Support ng venue.
Tsaka facility yung ganon.
Yes. Ikaw, willing ka tumulong? Kung may makita kang bata na may potential, willing ka tulungan yon?
Willing na willing po.
Okay.
Especially for Philippines.
In 2020 Tokyo Olympics,
Yes.
you're eyeing to qualify, di ba? And you will qualify how and when?
Through SLS, Street League Skateboarding, finals sa Brazil this January, which is invited ako.
Okay.
At mag-start yung qualification at ranking for Tokyo Olympic nga. Pero madaming skate events. Sa SEA Games din, more on tayo doon. Pero sure naman tayo doon eh. So, focus lang din sa Olympic. Yun yung goal ko for 2020.
Time Magazine named Marjeline Didal one of the most influential teens of 2018. She is the only Filipino on the list this year. We are taking a timeout. After the break, head coach Yeng Giao shares his thoughts on taking over the national men's basketball team. Sports Desk Rewind will be right back. Stay tuned.
Sa bango at lasa, sarap kasama. Tikman ng bagong Primera Light Brandy.
Ken?
Joy? Joy? Joy. Sa sobrang sarap ng Jollibee, maalala mo lang, nakakatakam. Chicken Joy! Kaya pag na-trigger yung hunger, let Jollibee deliver. Jollibee Delivery.
Here's a quick tip for finding your ideal hotel. 1. Go to Trivago. 2. Find the hotel you want. 3. Compare the different prices for the same hotel at once. That's it. Easy. Hotel Trivago.
Pero di wasak.
Ito yung trip ko.
boy from San Juan, Metro Manila, invented something that would change the way we see plastic bags.
It'll be the most awesomest thing that ever awesome! Yes!
Whoa! A shooting star!
Come on, I bet we can get this on the news.
How are you guys doing?
You guys are up to something.
You know what time it is?
Time now for our word of the day. This is the junior edition of Newsroom.
But first, this pop quiz.
Thank you and see you next time.
We're taking game night up a notch.
This is really bad timing.
You're kidding.
Do I look like I'm kidding?
Don't freeze. I never freeze. Now.
Trust me, I have good instincts.
We want to fight bad guys!
I am so proud of you.
This is a happy movie in dark times.
I think we had too much fun on this film.
Welcome back to Sports Desk Rewind on CNN Philippines. A new era begins for the national men's basketball team with champion PBA coach Yang Giao taking over from former Gilas Pilipinas coach Chot Reyes earlier this year. I sat down with Giao ahead of the fifth window of the FIBA World Cup qualifiers. He talks about his experience as the team's new head coach.
You can only make a judgment on how strong a national team is by the results and the performance, no, on the floor, no, not on speculations. No? So, yes, on paper, these guys might be some of the best. No, I would not want to call them the best, but they might be some of the best, and it still has to be proven if history will judge them, how history will judge this team. But I'm pretty confident that with this team we can make the World Cup.
Okay, and how did the two young guys look? Kai Soto, you mentioned already. Everybody's interested to see how he'd fare. And of course, Richie Rivero.
I call these guys our investments, no, into the future of Philippine basketball. We don't lose anything by putting them in the pool, and we actually gain a lot, no, by just having them there. I was impressed with Richie Rivero. The first time we called for tryouts, he was there. And he was holding his own against the best in the PBA, and he's just in college. No? Kai Soto practices with us in NLEX. Yes. And he gives our big men a really hard time. No? So I thought that he's dominating high school basketball, and he's getting a little bored playing with those young guys. So I just wanted to make him feel how it is to play with the big guys, no? and be mentored by them. So this is an opportunity for him to accelerate his development, and at the same time stake our future on him, no, for the future of Philippine basketball.
The sixth window of the FIBA World Cup qualifiers tip off February 2019.
Now moving on to football, achievement unlocked for the Philippine Azkals. The national men's football team booked their ticket to the 2019 Asian Cup after beating Tajikistan 2-1 in a qualifying match in March. This is the Azkals' first trip to the tournament. Team captain Phil Younghusband takes us back to the historic moment where he scored his 50th international goal.
With the penalty against Fiji, because that would have put us ahead, but with the penalty last night, had I missed, I knew it would still been 1-1 and we still would have qualified. So I was thinking, if I do miss, I'm just going to work 100% to make sure we don't concede. But, you know, I struck it well and the keeper went the other way. And you know, the emotions, the feeling once I scored that, you know, it's just. And I was starting to, I was starting to feel my legs a bit before the penalty, but after the penalty, I felt I could run another 90 minutes.
The 2019 Asian Cup kicks off January at the United Arab Emirates.
Over in boxing, Senator Manny Pacquiao is already looking forward to his next fight this January. The People's Champ will put his WBA World Welterweight title on the line against former 4-division world champion Adrian Bronner. The fight will take place January 19th, 2019 in Las Vegas. The 40-year-old Pacquiao is coming off a victory this year. He beat Argentina's Lucas Matisse via technical knockout in July.
Pinag-usapan namin ni Buboy kanina na dapat perfect yung counterpunch dahil counterpuncher din yung kalaban. So we have to be we need to be wise in terms of strategy, mga ganun. Lalo na sa training na ginagawa namin. I just want to make sure na yung mga effort na gagawin for this training camp magagamit sa fight. Hindi masasayang.
Pacquiao is reuniting with Freddie Roach for his fight against Bronner. Pacquiao says his former coach is coming in as a consultant.
Another UAAP men's basketball title for the blue and white. Ateneo captured its 10th championship after sweeping the UP Fighting Maroons in the best-of-3 finals. I caught up with some of the Blue Eagles and they shared the secret to the team's success.
Of course, it's a little different. I mean, it's a two-peat, but I think last year was, like you said, a little sweeter because it's LaSalle. But UP did great this season. You know, got to give them props. But yeah, I mean, everyone played well.
When I was younger, especially in my grade school and high school career, when I started out, everyone was already comparing me. And of course, I was young.
I know how it feels. I'm nowhere near your level anyways, but go on.
But yun nga, at the end of the day, what I realized is that I shouldn't let all of those things get in my head, because the only pressure that I should feel is the pressure of becoming the best player that I can possibly be. And that's the same for everyone in the team. That's what Coach Tab always tells us, and that's what I focus on every single day. I don't try to focus on, oh, this is what my dad achieved, this is what my brother achieved, I should also do it. I should try to do better. But I think the real pressure is trying to be a better player every single day.
The way you played in the finals, what we've seen from you, parang you're really up there already. And I mean, it's hard to imagine that you maybe, or the team, can even improve on what you showed this year.
Well, just like what Coach Tab tells us, we can do anything as long as we put our mind to it. We have, he keeps telling us that we still have potential to be way better than what we are right now, just as long as we make sure that we work smart and we still follow that mantra of servanthood.
Angelo Kwame lived up to the hype in his first season for the Ateneo Blue Eagles, but the finals was a different ball game for the big man from the Ivory Coast. Now in this interview, Kwame shares how he bounced back in the best-of-3 championship series.
After that game, I felt so bad, and I couldn't even talk and then eat. They was like, it's not your fault, so like...
You didn't mean it, right?
Yeah, I didn't mean it, yeah. But like, the whole Ateneo community, even the UP fans, they all send me message like, you know, you have to step on no matter what's gonna happen, because, you know, this is an opportunity for you to have a good point in your career. So don't let it get in your mind and go through that. I mean, before the game too, even Marty texted me, my dad texted me. I mean, and then, you know, I read the article about from Ambol Bola, which is,
he wrote a note, a letter to you, right?
He was a really inspirational.
That was nice. I read that too. So it really bothered you.
Yeah.
That inadvertent incident with Bright Akweti, that really did bother you.
Yeah, he did actually. But even Bright texted me, 2 days before the game, like, don't pay attention to that.
Let's just play the game.
Play the game, enjoy it.
Okay.
And then, yeah.
We're going to to stop the clock for a bit, but after the break, San Miguel Corporation goes back to back to back. The company's teams strike gold in the PBA. This is Sports Desk Rewind here on CNN Philippines. Stay tuned.
Sa bango at lasa, sarap kasama. Tikman ng bagong Primera Light Brandy.
Merger.
Steaks.
Merger. Merger.
Steaks.
Merger.
Steaks.
Sa sobrang sarap ng Jollibee, maalala mo lang, nakakatakam. Just call #87000 to get your Jollibee Delivericious meals right at your doorstep. Jollibee Delivery.